Hi, my name is John S. Seberger, and I'm presenting a brief overview of our paper, Still Creepy After All These Years, The Normalization of Affective Discomfort in App Use, co-authored with Irina Shklovski, Emily Swiatek, and Samir Patil. Last year, we presented research in which we found that users are only conditionally empowered by the provision of end-user privacy control because it empowers users to do only what the app makers allow them to do. The paper based on that work is available in the ACM Digital Library, and you can watch the presentation video at the bit.ly link on screen. In the present paper, we build on our research by investigating why people continue to use privacy-invasive apps, even though they acknowledge that the apps cause them discomfort. App users have been known to express a number of negative experiences with the invasive data practices of many of the apps they use. These experiences are captured using a variety of terms, such as weary, helpless, resigned, scared, repulsed, and shocked. An umbrella concept, often used for such experiences, is creepiness. Our work situates creepy user experiences as one aspect of the broader phenomenon of affective discomfort in app use. In particular, our study answers two research questions. First, whether people's intention to use apps that cause affective discomfort is connected to whether they perceive that they have the ability to control privacy. Second, how is the intention to use invasive apps influenced by self-perceptions of data literacy and affective discomfort? We investigated these questions using a core scenario describing a fictional but realistic music identification app called Remember Music. The core scenario provides detail on the purpose and functionality of the app. To investigate our research questions, we added additional text to create systematic variations of the core scenario for the treatment conditions of the study. Specifically, the violation of expectations variation presented Remember Music as collecting superfluous data unrelated to its function. The breach of personal boundaries variation involved the app sharing information with the user's friends on social media, and the Ambiguity of Threat variation implied that Remember Music might be collecting data via ambient listening. We created two versions of each of the three variations. One in which users could control privacy settings relevant to the variation, and one in which no privacy control was available. The full text of the core scenario and all variations and versions is available in the paper. The core scenario served as the control condition, and the three variations with two versions each were the 6 treatment conditions. We used the scenario to conduct a between-subjects online study. Those who provided informed consent were randomly assigned to read the scenario description corresponding to one of the 7 study conditions. After that, they answered questions related to affective perceptions that we formulated based on existing scales from the literature. Participants then proceeded to answer questions from standard scales related to app privacy and technical efficacy, and ended by providing standard demographics. The study procedures were reviewed and approved by the Institutional Review Board of Indiana University Bloomington. We recruited adults based in the United States by advertising the study on the crowdwork platform Amazon Mechanical Turk. We received valid responses from 751 participants, 299 of whom were women and 452 of whom were men. Participant ages ranged from 18 to 78, with a median of 36. Participants were distributed roughly equally among the 7 study conditions. We first verified the consistency and validity of our measures, details of which are available in the paper. In this video, we present results of the analyses involving the 3 main variables connected to our research questions. First, the presence of privacy control. Second, experience of affective discomfort, or whether the data practices of the app are perceived to be creepy, shady, or absurd. And third, self-assessment regarding understanding of the data practices of the app. We used multiple linear regression models to analyze the influence of these variables on the intention to continue using Remember Music. In the two violation of expectations treatments taken together, the presence of privacy control was not associated with the intention to continue using Remember Music. However, the intention to continue using Remember Music was negatively associated with affective discomfort and positively associated with self-perceived data literacy. We found the same associations for the three variables in the two treatment conditions involving breach of personal boundaries. In the two treatment conditions that involved data collection in ambiguous ways, we again found no influence of privacy control. However, unlike the other two variations, there was no association between affective discomfort and the intention to continue using the Remember Music app. The association between self-assessed data literacy and usage intention was similar to that for the other two variations. Overall, our findings show that invasive data practices of apps lead to affective discomfort. However, when the data practices are vaguely specified and ambiguous, users seem to default to using the app regardless, suggesting that they have accepted affective discomfort when using apps as the norm rather than an exception. Interestingly, the tendency is greater for those who believe that they possess greater data literacy. We would like to thank those who participated in the study. The study was partially funded with support from the National Science Foundation and the Center of Excellence for Women and Technology at Indiana University Bloomington. To conclude, our findings suggest that people continue to use creepy apps because they have internalized creepy data practices as the norm for how typical apps operate. For a more in-depth discussion of our method and findings, please consult the paper. Thank you.